The Chargers haven't beaten Patrick Mahomes in a meaningful game since 2021. That's 3 years of watching this team get their hearts ripped out by Kansas City, and honestly, I'm tired of pretending it's just bad luck. But before we dive into why 2025 might finally be different, I want to hear from you. What's the one thing that has to change for the Chargers to actually beat the Chiefs this year? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I guarantee half of you are thinking the same thing I am. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Look, I've been watching this team for years, and every offseason we hear the same narrative. This is the year. We've got the pieces. Herbert's ready. Then what happens? We get our hopes up, watch them play KC close, and somehow find a way to lose. It's like watching the same movie over and over again, except the ending never changes. The numbers tell the brutal truth. Since Mahomes became the starter, the Chargers have only beaten him twice, in 12 attempts. And here's what makes it even more painful. 6 of those 7 losses were by 1 score. 2 went to overtime. The average margin of defeat, 5.4 points. These aren't blowouts. These are games the Chargers should have won. Think about this for a second. In his first career start, Herbert gave the Chargers a 3-point lead with 2:27 left, and they lost in overtime. In 2021, Herbert puts them up by 7 with 2:19 left, and they lose in overtime. 2022, he gives them a 4-point lead with 1:46 left, and they lose. Last season, Herbert gives them a 1-point lead with 4.5 minutes left, and he never even gets the ball back. Kansas City runs out the clock and kicks a game winner. That's not bad quarterbacking. That's not even bad offensive play. That's a team that doesn't know how to finish games against elite competition. And that's exactly what needs to change in 2025. Now, I keep hearing about this all-fireworks team concept, and while I get the marketing appeal, let me tell you what I actually see. I see Ladd McConkey, who broke multiple rookie records and showed he's not just some slot receiver catching 8-yard passes. The kid had the NFL record for most receiving yards by a rookie in a playoff game, not just a Chargers record, the entire NFL record. That's the kind of explosive playmaker Herbert's never really had. Then there's Derwin James, who's apparently the hardest-hitting safety in the league. Great, but here's my question. If he's so dominant, why haven't they beaten Kansas City? I'm not questioning his talent. The guy led all defensive backs in sacks last season. He's clearly elite, but being elite in individual stats doesn't automatically translate to team success against the Chiefs. And let's talk about this prediction that Daiyan Henley will lead the league in tackles. He had 147 tackles last season, which was 8th in the league. Now, I like Henley. I think he's a solid player. But leading the league in tackles often means your defense is on the field too much, which means your offense isn't controlling games. Is that really the kind of success we want to celebrate? Here's what I think is actually happening. The Chargers are building a roster that looks incredible on paper, but they're still missing the one thing that separates good teams from championship teams. The ability to execute in clutch moments against elite competition. All the explosive players in the world don't matter if you can't close out games. Jim Harbaugh's arrival changes the equation, though. This isn't some defensive coordinator getting promoted, or another offensive guru who's never won anything meaningful. This is a coach who's been to Super Bowls, who's won at every level, who understands what it takes to beat teams like Kansas City. But even Harbaugh can't fix everything overnight. The offensive line situation is still a mess. They're experimenting with Zion Johnson at center, which tells you everything you need to know about their confidence level. If the experiment doesn't work, what's the backup plan? Put him back at guard next to Bradley Bozeman? That's the same combination that got destroyed by Chris Jones last season. You think that's suddenly going to work better this year? And don't even get me started on the Rashawn Slater Protector of the Year award prediction. The guy's a solid left tackle, sure. But this feels like typical Chargers fan delusion. We take a good player and convince ourselves he's the best in the league because we want to believe this team is closer to a championship than it actually is. The rookie class has potential. I'll give them that. Omarion Hampton brings a different kind of speed to the running game. Trey Harris averaged over 17 yards per catch in college, which is impressive. But rookies are rookies. Expecting them to be immediate game changers against Patrick Mahomes is setting yourself up for disappointment. Here's the thing that really bothers me about all this optimism. The Chargers have had talented rosters before. They've had good coaching before. They've had Justin Herbert putting up incredible numbers before, but none of that has translated to actually beating Kansas City when it matters. The defense is supposed to be this dominant unit, but they gave up game-winning drives to the Chiefs consistently. Khalil Mack is still productive, but he's not the pass rusher he was 5 years ago. Tuli Tuipulotu shows flashes, but disappears for stretches. And while everyone's talking about how explosive this team is, explosive doesn't mean anything if you can't sustain drives when you need to. I keep hearing about how close these games have been, as if that's somehow encouraging. You know what close losses are? They're still losses. And after 3 years of close losses to the same team, maybe it's time to admit that being close isn't good enough. The Brazil game against Kansas City is going to tell us everything we need to know about this team. It's a neutral site, it's early in the season, and it's a chance for the Chargers to make a statement. If they lose another close game, if they find another way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, then all this off-season optimism is just noise. But here's where I might surprise you. I actually think they have a chance this year. Not because of the fireworks or the explosive plays or any of that marketing nonsense. I think they have a chance because Harbaugh brings something this organization has never had. A culture of winning in big moments. The roster is more complete than it's been in years. Herbert's in his prime. The defense has legitimate playmakers. And most importantly, they're playing a Kansas City team that might finally be showing some cracks. Travis Kelce is getting older. Their receiving corps isn't as deep as it used to be. Their defense, while still good, isn't the dominant unit it was during their championship runs. If the Chargers are going to beat Kansas City, it's going to be because they finally learn how to finish games. It's going to be because their offensive line can actually protect Herbert in crucial moments. It's going to be because their defense can get a stop when they absolutely have to have one. The difference this year is that there are no more excuses. The roster is talented, the coaching is proven, the quarterback is established. If they can't beat Kansas City now, when can they? And if they can't beat Kansas City, what's the point of all this optimism? So yeah, I want to believe this is the year. I want to believe that Ladd McConkey and Derwin James and Jim Harbaugh are going to be the difference. I want to believe that Justin Herbert is finally going to get his signature win against Patrick Mahomes. But belief and reality are two different things, and the reality is that the Chargers haven't proven they can beat Kansas City when it matters. Until they do, all of this is just another chapter in the same old story. The season starts in Brazil. We'll find out pretty quickly if this team is actually different, or if we're just telling ourselves the same lies we tell every year. Because if they lose that game, if they find another way to come up short against Kansas City, then all this offseason hype is exactly what it looks like. Hype. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is the year everything changes, but I'm not betting on it, and neither should you.